जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
एक्सप्रेस পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন. कृपया ध्यान दियो.
Mumbai's second innings started like they were driving on the express highway. Then it rained. Then they got stuck in the dug-up roads and just could not get home. This kind of is like a summary of what Mumbai's season has been so far. They've gotten the wooden spoon. Lucknow win by 18 runs. And just a very sorry tale for Mumbai because they would have liked to come home and win, but wasn't meant to be. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. Lots to discuss. I'm Saiyami Kher and I have Michael and Joyda with me. Couldn't quite understand this innings because at 10 overs, they were 92. Rohit gave them that steady start that they wanted. He was playing very well and then Lucknow managed to pull it back in time.
Absolutely. I think two things. If you look at that, there's a couple of stories out there. Between 11 and 15, just look at that strike rate. 6.60. And that's basically the match for you. 6.60 versus 18 is basically the match for you. And if you look at it and you go back, this has been the tale of Mumbai's season.
So
this
true.
is the way that they've played. So how did Mumbai play their first game? They go to GT. GT score about 173 runs. They're chasing it. They're cruising. And then at some point, you realize they're going to lose the match. And nobody knows exactly how this has happened.
Yeah.
So as they, it's like lemon and snick. It's a series of unfortunate incidents. But suddenly you realize that in 4 overs, suddenly Mumbai is losing this match. And it's exactly the same thing. It tells you a story. This has been the story of Mumbai's season. They never look as if they're going to lose two straight off. And then suddenly in 3-4 hours, they seem to just collapse.
But the GT game, they were 36 for 6 in that last 5. Michael, we were talking about this in the comm box. We spoke about how they have so much batting to follow. They're looking like they're comfortable. And it feels like a copy-paste because we've said this all the time. And then Mumbai just find a way to lose the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is now 3 years, really. I mean, last year they snuck into the eliminators by having a kind of a really good ending to the league stage. But I don't think they bat as a team. They bat as individuals. Now, there's always an individual contribution, but you never, and you haven't seen Mumbai for just a few years now, well, when they go out to bat with all that power and all that skill level, you never feel that there's really good combinations. You feel there's always going to be an individual bit of brilliance by a Rohit Sharma or a Sky. We've just seen a fantastic innings from Namandir. He looks a quality player. I think his price might go up in next year's auction. But again, it's individuals. I'm not seeing a real collective. And when you're chasing, Joy mentions that first game at Gujarat, that was purely just, it was a brain fade. They should have won that game easily. They'd have got the campaign off to a winning start. And when you lose a game at the start of the tournament, when you know you should have won, it does affect you as a group. And you've got a new captain, there's a new coach in there as well. So the dimensions of the team are just slightly different. That first game was a big moment for them. But tonight, it's just the story of the Mumbai season. To think that they've got the wooden spoon 2 out of 3 now, remarkable.
I want to check one thing because it's just striking me that what again sums up Mumbai's Ishan Kishan? And I'll tell you why I want to pick up on Ishan Kishan. He was, after they spent a lot of money retaining 3 players. If you remember, they didn't retain Hardik Pandya. They retained Rohit, they retained Surya, and they retained Bumrah as their Indian players and Pollard.
And
they paid 15 crores for... Now, 15.25 crores you played for him. Today, he's walked in and he's played... How many balls has he played?
Like 15 balls. He walked in the 10th.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it because I'm
There you go. He's got 14 or 15.
14 or 15. He walks in to face the third ball of the 9th over, walks in at the 19th. That means at least 60 balls have happened in that period. So 60 balls have happened. You are a top batter. Okay, you bat at number 1. You bat top of the order. You face 15 of those 60 balls. Okay, so what are 1, 2 and 3? They're meant to finish the game off for you. You walk in. You face 25% of the balls, though you are the top batter and batters are changing on the other side all the time. You don't get strike, and when you get strike, you bat at a strike rate of less than 100. Okay. Secondly, your season. He's finished his season at 315 runs. Last year, he was 454 runs. Okay. The year before that also, he was above 400 runs. So it tells you that this season has been, in all, a complete disaster because this is not a... These are players, you look at that batting order. Why does this batting order look so strong? Because you say, okay, Rohit Sharma will give you runs.
Like Michael said, individually it all looks so good.
Oh, yeah. They just haven't done anything.
But he always swaps and changes. You know, if you go through the whole of the campaign, the 14 games, you know, the batting lineup, I know Scar wasn't fit at the start. You know, Brevis has come in today, he's open, Kishan's been open. It's all been a bit...
All over the place.
We've got these jigsaw kind of pieces that are they're not fitting together. And you would think, you know, with that kind of batting lineup, you'd have a constant, constant rolls at the start of the tournament. You just stick with that. Too much swapping and changing for me. For such a quality batting lineup, I don't think they've needed to have tinkered like they have done.
I want to see that card again because, you know, Ishan Kishan has been opening for Mumbai. So like you said, why are they swapping?
The reason why they've done that today, they wanted a left-hander to face Krunal Pandya. That's what they wanted. They knew that Krunal would bowl in the middle. They wanted a left-hander to hit with the spin. It didn't really come down to that.
But the matchups clearly haven't really worked all season long this time. We've spoken about how these matchups haven't worked. And again, Surya coming in, Krunal getting that very important wicket of Surya because that kind of changed the game. You know how Surya can take it away from you. So he's either had big scores or he's gotten out of the duck.
Yeah, but that's what's going to happen with Surya. Surya will not, the way he plays the game, he's not going to go off every day, which is why I said averages are meaningless.
Yes.
You have to look at these players. Once they played 10, 12, 14 balls, you have to look at them then. Because then they're totally destructive. Right up front, they're going to take a chance, somebody will take a catch, or they fly straight to a field. It is what it is. So that's the problem. And my point is that it was still okay for Mumbai because, yes, you didn't have one Surya. You had a Surya, you had a Rohit, you had a Hardik Pandya who's got a load of runs. You've got Ishan Kishan. You've got Naman who's come in and done well. You've got Tim David after that. You've got Romario Shepherd who in one match
It just sounds like such a lethal batting card, doesn't it? We'll have a look at the Lucknow bowling card because when Mumbai bat, usually you feel like, you know, where has this game changed? The bowling again, Krunal, very impressive because he got that key wicket of Surya and he was very economical again. Yeah,
and a sixth bowler, so, you know, again, it's a team. I think they've played pretty well this year. They'll be the team tonight. I mean, Mumbai will be just like, let's get till next year. I think Lucknow have been in that dressing room. They should be thinking, have we not qualified? You know, they've just obviously lost to Delhi.
Yes.
They got hammered by the Sunrisers, which was a killer for their net run rate, but they've played some good cricket. They really have played some good cricket. I know Justin Langer will be very disappointed that they haven't got to that top four. Just back on Mumbai, if you go back to Mumbai when they were real quality, they had real good combinations, Rohit and Quinton at the top. You know, you just knew that they were locked in. Trent Bolt and Bumrah, again, you knew that was locked in. Kieran Pollard on the boundary. If you can say to me now, where do any of the Mumbai Indians field? You'd be like, no idea. They're all over the place.
Yes.
You're not quite sure where they're going to be.
Rohit was a boundary rider this year. I mean,
but when they were good, they had
their
partnerships, and you knew Kieran Pollard was going to be down at long on, taking those big catches towards the back end. So they need to try and find in the next auction some real structure in how they're going to play the cricket, and then get the personnel to be around. And don't think if it doesn't go right at the start, or even if it doesn't go right after 3 or 4 games, stay cool. Look at RCB. RCB have won the last 5 games because they've have tinkered a bit, but they've stayed consistent in the last few games. And guess what? It brings a bit of consistency with the results.
But credit to KL Rahul because he managed to pull back things when Mumbai clearly were in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I think the crucial wicket was, as you said, Surya Kumar Yadav. Once they got Surya Kumar Yadav, then the only danger left was, you know, Rohit Sharma. And Rohit just tried one of those reverses, went straight to the field. And that was it. That was the game. Because after that, you knew that there just wasn't enough spirit in the dressing room to be able to do this. And none of the... also, for some reason, people like Tim David and all have just not come off today. They've dropped him. I thought Naman did absolutely fantastically today to take them, you know, close enough, at least respectability. But yeah, that was it.
But were you happy with the way Rahul kind of moved his bowlers around, especially after the 10th over?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was that difficult. You know, I don't think it was a night where he had to think too much. I think it was quite a simple procedure. Then down the back end, Naman started to hit a few sixes, and it's got a lot closer than, let's be honest, the game was. The game was won after 15 overs, and he's played a beautiful innings. The brilliance on the boundary. Krunal Pandya, who knows if that had gone for 6. We could have had a real close game in the last few balls, but I think KL would be the first to admit he didn't really have to think too hard out in the outfield.
We spoke about Hardik, the bowler, in the mid-match show. But Hardik, even with the bat, has been a concern for Mumbai, and these will be concerns for India as well.
Absolutely, the concern is more for India
Yes.
right at this point. I mean, this campaign is over. Whatever has happened has happened. Mumbai has to go back to think about what they want to do with their next auction, how they want to restructure this team. But for India, the fact that Hardik has been very average with the ball and has not shown that finishing power with the bat. Because if you want Hardik to play, I mean, literally, they'll have to take a call between Hardik and Shivam Dube right now.
Yes.
And if Hardik is not bowling well, Shivam Dube is far more in form as a bat.
Well, on Hardik's captaincy, I just wonder how much of an impact Ashish Nehra had on him. When
At
he was
Gujarat,
captain
yes.
in Gujarat, did Nehra do quite a lot of the work, whereas the combination at Mumbai, whether it's, the dynamics of the dressing room, we don't know. Maybe that's not quite right, but Mark Boucher and Hardik Pandya, is that as good as his combination was with Ashish Nehra? It doesn't look like
absolutely.
it's as good. I think Ashish probably did a lot of his
Yes.
work, and he could just get out on the field and play.
And he admitted it. He said that this is all Ashish Bhai. Ashish Bhai is running it and he's helping it, and I'm learning as it goes along. And he was frank enough, and the atmosphere was an open enough atmosphere to say that openly. I don't think he's in a position to do that. And you're right. He's come from there, 1-1, reached the finals of another, and then he's come here as this hugely touted captain. So there's a lot more pressure. And obviously that relationship, when he and Ashish started, they started from scratch, Yeah, new franchise, new captain, new coach, let's get together. I think this is a different ball game, and you're absolutely right. I think it's a huge factor.
But talking about the winning side, Lucknow, India 3 years have managed 2 playoffs, and this year around, like you said, they should be proud with what they've done. They just had those 2 big losses, which kind of have put them in the position that they are in, but they'll be proud with their campaign.
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, it's Justin Langer's first outing as an IPL coach. We spoke about it in the pre-show, about getting used to the tournament, how long it is, how to spend your downtime, what kind of preparation you do for each game, just managing your staff, managing all the players. But he'll have a better idea of, now he's played all the grounds, you kind of get used to the conditions and what the pitches are going to be like, and he'll have an idea already about the auction.
Yes.
And he'll know that he'll be targeting 2 or 3 different players. I don't think there's a massive amount of change required in terms of the mentality. They look like they've got a good group. But obviously with the auction, when you can only retain so many, who knows where anybody's going to end up next year. But I think Justin Langer will be better for this year, next year when he's coming back.
Well, talking about the auction, there is one certainty of a man called Nicky P, who ensured that he got his team to a good finish today, which is why he is our Omni Gel Spray Performer of the Day. He ensured that there was no pain for fans, and he just really set it up so beautifully for Lucknow, because that 75 that he got, it almost was getting that team to that 214. They almost knew that they had it in.
Yeah. A partnership where you're talking about, the captain batting at one end, and 103 runs, he's got 75, the captain has got 28, just tells you a story. And Rahul was the set batter.
Yes.
It just tells you, and the way he hit sixes, 8 sixes, the way he hit sixes, the way he went after bowlers. And again, this is the one thing that is, so much changed in T20 cricket. You don't hit 1 6 and think you've got one for the over. If you have that opportunity, you'll go, you'll hit 2, 3, 4 sixes, you'll do whatever it needs to be done. So I thought Stoinis played well early. He was the attacker up front. When he got out, Nicky Pooran was absolutely fantastic.
He'll be very happy going into the World Cup with this form.
He's a player. He's a player. I mean, again, we said it earlier, but that West Indies group is strong. They have got some real power. Whether they've got the bowling, we'll have to wait and see, but they're certainly going to get big scores.
Well, Nicholas Pooran ensured that there was no pain for the fans, which is why he was our Omni Gel Spray Performer of the Day. We are all waiting to see what he does for West Indies now that the campaign for Lucknow is also all well. We'll have a look at the points table to tell you why it's over, because the scenarios.com couldn't have rescued them at all. They have a E next to their name as well. So there is only Chennai and Bengaluru now who have to fight it out tomorrow for the big game. But Michael, no team wants to be down there at number 10, least of all the Mumbai Indians, considering we know the history and we know what the team's capable of.
No, I think I said they'd be in the top 4 this year.
So did I.
I just saw that batting and I thought, wow, I mean, you've got Bumrah as well.
And
Bumrah
Bumrah
is
back,
returning,
exactly.
I was like, surely they're going to qualify, but things have not been right for Mumbai, and they've got to go back into the think tank, go back to the drawing board and try and work out. One thing I'll always say about every sport or any sport that you follow, the culture in the dressing room is the most important aspect. If you get that right, I always think performance and results will follow.
A reaction to the points table, Joyda, because we now have clearly just 2 teams now.
It's fantastic. Just 3 matches to go?
3 matches.
3 matches to go. It's still open. It's still one berth is still open.
Yes.
This is a pretty close finish. And second, third, top 2 is not decided as yet. So lots to play for still, which is what we, as I said, we always think about it. Oh, this is all decided. Last 2 weeks are going to be a bore. And then something happens. Somebody wins 5 matches in a row. Somebody starts losing. And we are all back to square one, which is fantastic. But that's what you say, that if you look at Lucknow will just look at that campaign and say just 2 things. 98 runs, 10 wickets, 9 points.
Those 2 games.
That's it.
Yeah.
Those 2, if they could just have somehow changed those 2, because the defeats were so big that basically their run rate is those 2. It's just those 2 matches that spoiled their run rate.
Well, Jodha, like you said, it's very cool that just 3 games remaining and we are still waiting to see who is going to take that number 4 slot. We had very cool moments in today's game. So let's have a look at the carrier room air conditioner's coolest moment of the match. Quite a few to choose from when you have Nicky P doing what he does, when you have bowlers doing what they do. So do you all have your picks?
I have one, and Nicky P obviously 8 sixes and all. But the 6 that I'll choose is not from Nicky P. It's Rohit Sharma shimmying down the track, straight over Mohsin Khan's head for a 6, hits a side screen, and I just looked at that shot and said, will I ever see him do this again in Mumbai colours? And everyone in the stadium must have been thinking the same, that this shot, perfection, no risk at all, straight over the bowler's head. Rohit Sharma at his best, footwork, excellent footwork, just shimmied down. Oh, it was so beautiful to watch.
That question, I think, for all Mumbai Indians fan is going to leave a very heavy feeling in the heart, because like I said in our pre-match show, you can't imagine a MI without Rohit.
You can't
Sharma.
imagine an MI without Rohit. You can't imagine an India team without Rohit. I mean, he's been such an amazing presence for us.
Michael, for you, do you have your...
I'm going to choose... I mean, Namandai is involved because the last bowler hit a 6 over extra cover. I thought that was pretty cool. But I think it was the second ball of the last over where he hit one down the ground and went another 6, and suddenly the flying Krunal Pandya arrived and just managed to grab it in midair. And the best thing about that, he managed to grab it, and he would have realised that his feet were going to land on the boundary rope, and he just managed to release it at the perfect time. Something I couldn't do in the outfield, but that was a cool moment.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
I have a Rohit Sharma moment as well, but it's not with the bat. It's what he did in the field. There was a diving effort by Rohit Sharma again. So I think it's just very cool to see Rohit Sharma diving around the field. We've seen it earlier in the IPL as well. Let's have a look at what cool moments you all have written in with on X and Twitter and wherever else. Prateek Nayak says, the coolest moment for me is Nicky P showing a trailer to the cricket world that he's going to be a player to watch for the upcoming T20 World Cup. Well, we've discussed this, Prateek. He sure is going to be one. Sadinu says that his coolest moment is Tushara's in-swinging Yorker to DTP. That was quite a ball. That was a beauty.
That was a beauty.
I think next up then, we've got the last one from Anvesha. She says Rohit Sharma scoring runs in his last innings before the T20 World Cup. That's a cool moment as well, because Indian fans want him to go in in the best of form. So this is the best thing that an Indian fan could ask for.
Absolutely. Any neutral supporter, non-Lucknow supporter would look at that and say, please get runs, Rohit. We need him to be in touch before the World Cup.
Yes. Thank you so much for writing in. That definitely was a very cool moment. And these were our carrier room air conditioners' coolest moment of the match. Talking about cool and keeping it cool, tomorrow is a day when 2 teams have to really keep their cool, because it is a knockout game. The big blockbuster game, Bengaluru taking on Chennai, match number 68. So I want to just leave it to you all, because so much has been spoken about this match. Bengaluru, from where they've been, 5 wins on the trot. They need to win this in either 18.1 overs or 18 runs. This is going to be quite a nail-biter.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at it in terms of, sports history, there are two different script writers who are writing. One is writing about Dhoni's last year and all the matches and coming up to one last championship for Thala. The other is writing that we haven't won a championship for 17 years. We had no chance this time. We won 5 in a row. And we just need to win 3 more and we're going to win a title as well. So there are two scriptwriters. Only one of them's, maybe none of their stories will come true.
I hope the
but
third
at least
scriptwriter,
one of their stories will continue.
Yeah, but I hope the third scriptwriter doesn't play a spoiled sport.
Nobody knows where that third scriptwriter is. But that's what I'm saying. There's so much riding on it, so much emotion riding on it. And not only that, given how Dhoni has been this season everywhere he's travelled, you're also not going to find a completely, red ground.
Yes.
There's going to be a substantial amount of yellow in the ground. There's going to be a substantial amount of, supporters for Chennai as well. It's a cracker of a match. It's totally set up. And the beauty of it, what I like even more, and you may think it's not the right way to look at it, is both teams are imperfect. Both are hurting, both are missing players, both are not perfect. But, imperfect sides make for the most perfect matches. And I'm just really looking forward to this.
But Michael, RCB looking good going into this game. They've clearly got their combinations going well, but Will Jacks is not going to be there tomorrow. So Glenn Maxwell replaces him?
Yeah, it's not a bad replacement for Will Jacks. And you know what Glenn Maxwell likes? He likes the big stage. It wouldn't be surprising at all if he produced a performance tonight for the RCB. But to win 5 on the trot, they've got something going. Whenever I left, I think it was April the 12th, I said, they've got no chance. That bowling's not good enough. And then suddenly they've won 5 on the trot because, Lockie Ferguson's come to the party. Cameron Green started to bowl nicely. Siraj is bowling well with the new balls. So they've just started to find some nice combinations. But the bedrock of the RCB team has been Virat Kohli at the top of the order. He's been so consistent. The leading run scorer, he's scored at a good rate as well. He's played some explosive innings. He's played some smart innings at times. And Kohli versus Dhoni, it just doesn't get any bigger. And to think that you've got to the final Saturday before the eliminators and you've got MS Dhoni going to Bengaluru playing Virat Kohli who's in good form. Let's be honest, I think if the RCB team win, I think they will win by the margin. I think they will get it done. I think I do think they'll be able to get that done.
If they put on 200 runs, they need to win it by a margin of 18, or they need to win it if they in 18.1. So.
Yeah, I just think they will. If they get the victory, I think that won't be a problem for them. And I'd rather be in the RCB team because I think Chennai, yes, they won the last game, but they've had a few little bits of difficulty. Patharana's a massive miss for them. Not many of their batters are in fine form. Whereas I look at this RCB side and I think there's a few more players in better form, but it's a one-off. Anything could happen.
Joyita, talking about RCB's team first, Glenn Maxwell replaces Will Jacks. Absolutely. Any other changes that you see?
No, they call him the big show. So, the big show has to be on. And I think they've finally, if you look at their batting order, I think they've finally discovered it. Their two keys. See, Karthik started well as well. But what has really made a difference for them is the fact that Rajat Patidar has taken on the middle overs. And he smashed spin. See, one of the ways of slowing down Virat Kohli was throwing spin at him early. And I think once you have somebody like a Rajat Patidar who really takes down spin, you can't use that weapon effectively anymore. And if you see Rajat Patidar, he's been scoring his 50s, 3 or 4 50s at, in 28 balls, 26 balls, 25 balls. He's really come to the party.
Yes.
And he was injured, remember, for the first few matches. So he's made a huge change in that. Their bowling has started to look much better and therefore the balance has changed again.
Yes.
And I think that it's a straight swap, just Will Jacks for Maxwell. They might even, I'll be interested in seeing what they do with the batting order though.
Who will open with?
Yeah. But I still feel that they will not tinker too much because just to accommodate one, they're not going to change a whole lot of players. But I can't see Maxwell coming in before 3. So maybe Faf and Virat open, Patidar at 3, maybe Maxi at 4.
Michael, for Chennai, changes that you see? Moeen Ali
they had a good win in the last game.
Santner back in.
Yeah. Maybe, but I think they'll go with what they went in the last game. I mean, I think it's a very experienced squad. Obviously, Rachin's going to Bengaluru, where he's obviously got family members, which will be great for him. He's in half-teams. Gaikwad's the one that's really surprised me, because at the start, when he was captaining and not getting so many runs, I thought, this is a bit of a big ask to captain MS Dhoni. But I think he's been terrific. With the bat in hand, he's been fantastic, but his captaincy's been smart. You know, and sometimes when you watch a captain take over, a legendary captain, everyone's still looking at the ex-captain, but I've not seen that. You know, he's been the captain out. I mean, I'm sure he may walk past MS Dhoni every now and again and go, "What do you reckon? Do you think we're getting it right?" And he'll just whisper in his ear. But you don't seem to think that he's not the leader on the field, which is, you know, it's a great praise for a young captain that's taken over a huge role.
Yeah, I think this time he wanted to do it right. Dhoni wanted to do it right. And, you know, compared to somebody like Ravindra Jadeja, Ruturaj has captained Maharashtra.
Yeah.
He's an experienced thing, and he's a very calm. His personality-wise, exactly, he's very calm. Apparently, once he was asking Dhoni something, and so Dhoni said, "You don't need to ask me anymore. You know what you're doing." And I think he's got that. One of the reasons I feel Dhoni is still there is just to give him that confidence without actually having to say much. And I think it's working. I mean, whatever their failings that they have, they've not done as well as they normally do. But the point of it is, injuries has a huge part to play with it. You know, they've lost Deepak Chahar, they've lost Pathirana, they've lost so many players. They've lost Conway. They are three pillars. I mean, if you see every side that's done badly, they've either lost an opening bat or they've lost a crucial bowler.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's just, completely changes the team.
But Joyda, tomorrow they will not only be wanting a win, they'll be wanting a big win to go into that top two.
They don't really need a big win. See, if you look at how the order is there, see the two teams who are above them right now, they're looking at is Rajasthan and Hyderabad. Hyderabad has to lose because Hyderabad is on odd points. So they can never catch up Hyderabad. Rajasthan also has to lose, but the moment Rajasthan loses, the kind of run rate Chennai is on and Chennai is winning, they automatically do it. So all they need is if Hyderabad washes out also, if you see the run rates, they still go ahead. So if they win, they still go ahead. So it's basically they will be saying, we will not only want to win it, we want to just put it there that if any of the two teams falter on the last day, we have a top two spot and 2 chances to win. 2 chances to qualify for the finals.
So your players to watch out for this big day then?
I'm going to go for the big two. I'm going to go for Virat. I'm going to go MSD. He'll go out and strike 20 off 5. Down the back end, he'll go and hit a couple of sixes without any question.
For you, Joyda?
For me, it's Ruturaj one side because I think Ruturaj is very important to them. He gives them the calmness at the top of the order. And the other person I'm looking at is Rajat Patidar. He's been fantastic for them, for Bangalore. He needs to really go after the spinners, which RCB has.
I also like Ratchin on this wicket.
Yes, and coming back to this
I
ground.
think Ratchin on this wicket, he'll fancy batting on this surface.
All right, then this is the big game tomorrow and everyone's waiting for it. Lots of people waiting with nails to be chewed off tomorrow because it's a knockout. Joyda, it's that time now to answer your question. I don't know if you thought about it, Michael, but now it's your turn.
I think he should answer this question because this player made his one-day debut in a World Cup game against Australia, and then he was dismissed for a duck twice in his only test for a different country. That means he didn't play for the same country when he was making his test debut. I think you know who was making his debut.
Well, yeah, so his one-day debut was for Scotland against Australia, and actually his test debut was against South Africa in 1999 at the Wanderers, and I played in the same game. There you go, Gavin Hamilton.
You not only played in the same game, you made your debut in the same game.
That's right, yeah.
This is a welcome back question for you.
And Gavin was an all-rounder. He got 0 and 0 and 0 for.
Yeah, exactly. And both times I think he was Scott Pollock, bowled Donald. I think both innings he was Scott Pollock, bowled Donald.
All right, besides Michael, let's have a look at who's gotten it correct. Suryansh has gotten this correct.
Well done. This is not an easy one at all. And
but,
of course,
you've seen Suryansh answer questions?
I think I've seen Suryansh once before, at least.
Well done, Suryansh. But besides Suryansh, we also had winners on our prediction game today. So, and you were very, very close. Just
I
that
one
run.
One run I missed in the last.
But I want to see if that table has moved at all, because even when I win, it doesn't really move. But it has moved today.
Saiyami is gone in second place. Well done, Saiyami.
And Gilly's gone above you, Michael. You all no longer are equal, so you have to fight for this tomorrow.
So what about Pommy and Polly down the bottom there?
They haven't gotten off the mark, and
They're the
Pommy says
Mumbai Indians.
Ouch. Pommy says this is a whimsical game and he doesn't take it very seriously. That's what he says.
I have a change of rules which I'll talk about. So
Oh.
my change of rules is, what happens is, suppose he chooses 55. It all depends on who's making the first choice because they can spread.
Yeah.
So my idea is that
You're right.
everyone is allowed to, either right or everyone is allowed to put whatever they're to. And then whoever's closest gets points, or you say that everyone who's within that 10 or 5 gets points. So it doesn't matter because otherwise you're cutting each other.
Okay.
And if you've made a number, then it doesn't matter.
You cannot argue with the quiz master himself. So I hope our producers are listening in because he's given a suggestion and you can't argue with this. Next season, I hopefully will see these changes. But considering that there is a very important game happening today, we are already.
It's today.
Yes,
Okay.
it's already today. Michael's had a long day, so we should let him go rest because we want you completely ready and fresh for tomorrow's day.
Forward
So
to tomorrow. Well, today.
today. And Joyda, we will be seeing you very soon as well. So thank you so much for today. It's always great to have you back and always great to have you here always.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It's been a
Joyda.
pleasure.
And thank you so much everyone for watching. We've said this time and again, tomorrow is the big knockout. So you all know what to do. Just join us here at 7 o'clock. We have lots to talk about. That's all we have time for right now. Good night and goodbye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ
হায়দ্রাবাদ 50 এক্সপ্রেস পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दें